You ever felt someone watching you, not in a creepy way, but in a way that makes you question everything? Like there's something there, something unspoken, something real, but hidden behind silence. See, attraction isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with compliments, confessions, or clear intentions. Sometimes it shows up in glances that last a little too long, in conversations that feel a little too meaningful, in moments that don't make sense but feel right. Now let me tell you something. When a man is secretly attracted to you, he can try to hide it, deny it, even run from it, but he will never fully control it. Because the truth is, feelings have a language of their own. And today you're about to learn how to read that language like never before. So pay attention, because the signs you've been overlooking, they've been speaking to you all along. He finds reasons to be around you. Let me break this down for you in a way you won't forget. When a man is secretly attracted to you, he may not have the courage to say it out loud. He may not be ready to risk rejection, and he may not even fully understand his own feelings yet, but one thing he cannot control is his desire to be close to you. That pull is natural, it's instinctive, and it shows up in the smallest, most consistent ways. You'll start noticing that he's always somewhere around you, not in an obvious, over-the-top way, but in a subtle, almost coincidental pattern. He just happens to be where you are. He just happens to show up at the same time. He just happens to extend conversations longer than necessary. And you might brush it off at first, thinking it's random, but over time, patterns don't lie. See, when a man likes you, your presence becomes something he seeks without even realizing how often he's doing it. He doesn't need a solid reason to be near you, so he creates one. Maybe he asks you a question he could have easily figured out himself. Maybe he brings up a topic just to keep the interaction going. Or maybe he offers help when it's not even required. These are not accidents. These are opportunities he's creating just to stay connected to you a little longer. And here's the deeper truth. Time is one of the most valuable things a person has. And people don't invest their time where they feel nothing. If he consistently finds ways to spend even a few extra minutes around you, that's emotional interest quietly revealing itself. You'll also notice that he doesn't rush to leave when you're around. Even when the conversation is over, even when there's nothing left to say, he lingers. That lingering is powerful because it means he values the moment more than the destination. A man who isn't interested will keep things efficient, quick, and to the point, but a man who is secretly attracted will stretch time just to feel your presence a little longer. And sometimes it's not even about talking. Sometimes he's just there, silent, present, aware of you. That kind of energy doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from a place of curiosity, admiration, and emotional pull. Now understand this clearly. He may not be doing this consciously. He might even convince himself that he's just being friendly or coincidental, but his actions tell a different story. Because attraction doesn't always start with bold moves. It often begins with proximity. The closer he is to you, the more comfortable he becomes, and the more his hidden feelings begin to surface. So if you find a man repeatedly placing himself in your space, finding small reasons to interact, and choosing your presence over distance, don't ignore it or overcomplicate it. That's not randomness. That's quiet intention. His attention is different. From others now, let's get into something even deeper, because this right here is where the truth starts separating itself from confusion. When a man is secretly attracted to you, his attention towards you will never be ordinary, and it will never match the way he treats everyone else. You might see him laughing with other people, talking casually, even being friendly and open, but the moment he engages with you, something shifts. It's subtle, but it's powerful. His focus sharpens, his energy changes, and suddenly you're not just another person in the room. You become the center of his awareness. He listens to you in a way that feels intentional, not distracted, not halfway present, but fully locked in. And I'm not just talking about hearing your words. I'm talking about understanding you. He catches the little things, the details that most people overlook. You mention something small in passing, maybe a preference, a thought, or even a random story, and days later he brings it up like it mattered. That's not normal attention, that's selective focus. And selective focus comes from emotional interest. People only prioritize what they care about. And when a man is secretly attracted, your words carry more weight in his mind than anyone else's. You'll also notice that his responses to you are different. He doesn't just reply, he reacts. There's a level of engagement in his tone, in his expressions, in the way he processes what you say. Even when the topic is simple, he treats it like it matters because it's coming from you. And here's something even more telling, he gives you time. In a world where people are constantly distracted, constantly scrolling, constantly half paying attention, a man who gives you his undivided attention is revealing more than he realizes. He's choosing you in that moment over everything else competing for his focus. And choice is powerful. Now let's go a little further, because attention isn't just about how he listens, it's also about how he notices. A man who is secretly attracted to you will pick up on changes that others miss. He'll notice when you're not as energetic as usual, when your mood shifts, when something feels off. You might not say a word, but he'll still ask, "Are you okay?" That awareness doesn't come from surface level interaction. It comes from someone who's been paying close attention to you over time. And the reason he's paying attention is simple. He cares, even if he hasn't admitted it yet. Now understand this clearly. This kind of attention cannot be faked for long. Anyone can pretend for a moment, but consistency reveals truth. If he consistently treats you with a deeper level of focus, care, and awareness compared to others, then you're not imagining it. That difference you feel is real. Because when a man is secretly attracted, he may hide his words, he may control his actions to a certain extent, but his attention, his true attention, will always expose what his heart is trying to keep quiet. His body language gives him away. Now let's talk about something that never lies. Something more honest than words and more revealing than actions you can plan, his body language. See, a man can rehearse what he says, he can control his tone, he can even pretend not to care, but what he cannot fully control is how his body reacts to you. That's where the truth lives. When a man is secretly attracted to you, his body starts communicating before his mouth ever does. And if you're paying attention, you'll catch signals that speak louder than any confession. You might notice the way he positions himself when you're around. Even in a group setting, his body subtly turns in your direction. His feet point towards you, and his shoulders angle to face you, almost like an invisible force is pulling his focus back to you, no matter what's happening around him. That's not random behavior. That's subconscious alignment. And it happens because his mind is locked onto you even when he's trying to act normal. Then there's eye contact, and this is a big one. A man who is secretly attracted will look at you differently. It won't be casual or fleeting. It will linger just a second longer than it should. And in that extra second, everything is revealed. Sometimes he'll hold your gaze and then quickly look away when he realizes it's becoming obvious. And other times he'll try to play it cool but keep coming back to you like he can't help himself. Eyes don't just see, they express, and when attraction is present, they become the window to everything he's trying to hide. You'll also start noticing mirroring, and this is one of the strongest subconscious signs there is. If you lean in, he leans in. If you smile, he smiles. If you adjust your posture, somehow he follows without even realizing it. This isn't imitation, it's connection. It means he's in sync with you on a level that goes beyond conscious effort. And here's another detail people often miss: the way he reacts when you enter or leave a space. When you walk in, there's a shift, a subtle alertness, like his attention has just been activated. He may straighten up, adjust his posture, or suddenly become more aware of himself. And when you leave, there's often a drop in that energy, like something important just exited the room. That shift is emotional, even if he never says a word about it. Physical proximity is another powerful indicator. A man who is secretly attracted will naturally find ways to close the distance between you, even if it's just by a few inches. He'll stand a little closer than necessary, sit nearer when there are other options, or lean in during conversation as if creating a private space between the two of you. And within that space, you'll feel it, the unspoken tension, the quiet intensity that doesn't need words to exist. Even small gestures carry meaning. The way he fixes his appearance when you're nearby, the way his hands move when he talks to you, or even moments where he seems slightly restless or overly aware of himself. All of these are signs of internal energy trying to regulate itself in your presence. Because attraction creates a kind of nervous excitement, and that energy has to go somewhere. Now, here's the truth you need to understand. Body language is honest because it bypasses intention. He might want to hide how he feels. He might try to act indifferent, but his body doesn't operate under the same rules as his thoughts. It responds instinctively, emotionally, and in real time. So when you start noticing these patterns, the positioning, the eye contact, the mirroring, the subtle shifts in energy, you're not overthinking it. You're reading a language that most people ignore. And in that language, his feelings are already speaking loud and clear, even if his words haven't caught up yet. He gets slightly nervous around you now. Let's clear something up right away because a lot of people misunderstand this part. Nervousness is not weakness. It's not insecurity. And it's definitely not a lack of confidence. In fact, when a man is truly attracted to you, even the most confident, composed, and self-assured man can feel a shift in his behavior. Why? Because now there's something at stake. Now he cares about how you see him, how you perceive him, and what you think about him. And when that level of care enters the picture, it naturally creates a little pressure, a little tension, and yes, a little nervous energy. You'll start noticing small changes in how he acts when he's around you compared to how he behaves with everyone else. Maybe he's smooth and relaxed with others, but when it comes to you, he hesitates just a bit. He might pause before speaking, choosing his words more carefully than usual. Or he might stumble slightly, saying something and then correcting himself right after. That's not because he doesn't know what to say. It's because he wants to say the right thing. And when someone starts filtering themselves to make a better impression, that's a clear sign that your opinion matters to them. You might also notice physical signs of nervousness that he doesn't even realize he's showing. It could be something as simple as fidgeting with his hands, adjusting his clothes, touching his face, or shifting his posture more than usual. These are small, almost invisible movements, but they reveal a lot about what's going on internally. His body is trying to release the extra energy that builds up when he's around you. Because attraction creates excitement, and excitement needs an outlet. There are also moments where he might laugh a little too quickly at something you say or react a little more strongly than the situation calls for. That's not him being fake. That's him being emotionally activated. Your presence affects him in a way that goes beyond logic, and that influence shows up in his reactions. And then there's overthinking, which is one of the biggest signs of hidden attraction. You might notice that he sometimes second guesses himself or revisits something he said earlier, almost like he's replaying the moment in his mind. He might even bring it up again later, trying to clarify or improve how he came across. That's not normal casual behavior. That's someone mentally invested in how they are perceived by you. Because when a man doesn't care, he doesn't reflect, he doesn't analyze, and he definitely doesn't worry about small details. But when he's attracted, every little interaction can feel important, and that importance creates pressure. Now, here's something deeper you need to understand. Nervousness often comes from the fear of losing something valuable, even if that something hasn't fully formed yet. In this case, it's the possibility of you. He doesn't want to mess it up. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing, and he doesn't want to risk pushing you away. So even if he tries to appear calm on the surface, underneath there's a current of emotion running through him, influencing his behavior in ways he can't completely control. And that's why nervousness is such a powerful sign, because it's not something people choose to display. It's a reaction, an automatic response to emotional significance. If you notice that a man becomes just a little more careful, a little more aware, and a little more unsettled when he's around you, don't dismiss it as awkwardness or coincidence. What you're really seeing is the impact you have on him, the way your presence disrupts his usual balance. And in that disruption, in those small moments of nervous energy, his true feelings are quietly revealing themselves. Even if he hasn't found the courage to say them out loud yet, he protects you. Even without a title now, this right here is powerful because it goes beyond surface level attraction and taps into something much deeper, instinct. When a man is secretly attracted to you, he may not say he wants to be with you. He may not claim you. And he may not have defined anything between the two of you. But despite all that, you'll notice something undeniable. He looks out for you. Not in a controlling way, not in a loud or possessive way, but in a quiet, consistent, and intentional way that reveals how he truly feels. See, protection is not something a man offers casually. It comes from care, from emotional investment, and from a natural desire to ensure that someone is safe, respected, and okay. And when that instinct shows up without a label, without a commitment, without even a conversation about feelings, that's when you know it's real and unfiltered. You'll start seeing it in the way he pays attention to your environment. If something feels off, he notices. If someone speaks to you in a way that's disrespectful or uncomfortable, he becomes aware of it immediately, even if he doesn't react dramatically. Sometimes it's as subtle as him stepping closer, changing the dynamic of the situation, or redirecting the conversation to ease any tension you might be feeling. He doesn't have to make a scene to show protection. His presence alone shifts the energy around you. And then there are the moments where he checks on you, not because he has to, but because he wants to. He might ask if you got home safely, if you're okay after a long day, or if something that bothered you earlier has passed. These are small gestures, but they carry a lot of weight because they show that you're on his mind even when you're not physically in front of him. That kind of attention doesn't come from obligation. It comes from genuine concern. You'll also notice that he becomes more alert when you're around others, especially in situations where you might need support. He observes, he listens, and he positions himself in a way where he can step in if necessary. It's not about dominance, it's about presence. It's about being ready without being asked. And here's the key. He does all of this without expecting recognition or reward. He's not trying to prove something or earn points. He's simply acting on what he feels. That's what makes it so real. Because when a man is only pretending or trying to impress, his actions feel forced and obvious. But when he's genuinely protective, it feels natural, almost effortless, like it's just part of who he is when it comes to you. There's also a level of emotional protection that shows up. He becomes mindful of how his words or actions might affect you. He avoids putting you in uncomfortable situations, and he tries, even in small ways, to make sure you feel secure around him. That emotional awareness is a sign of deeper connection because it means he's not just thinking about himself, he's considering your experience as well. Now, understand this clearly. He may never come out and say, I care about you, or I want to protect you, but his behavior will say it over and over again. Because protection is not always spoken, it's demonstrated. It's in the way he shows up, the way he pays attention, and the way he responds when something doesn't feel right. And when a man steps into that role without being asked, without having a defined place in your life, that's not casual. That's instinct driven by attraction and reinforced by genuine emotional interest. He drops subtle hints, but never fully confesses. Now, this is where everything comes together, and at the same time where most people get confused. Because when a man is secretly attracted to you, he doesn't always come out and say it directly. Instead, he operates in this space between honesty and hesitation, where his feelings are real, but his delivery is careful. He doesn't want to expose himself fully. So what he does instead is drop subtle hints, little pieces of truth wrapped in casual conversation, statements that sound harmless on the surface, but carry deeper meaning underneath. You'll hear him say things that feel slightly personal, slightly suggestive, but never fully clear. He might tell you that any man would be lucky to have you, or question why you're still single, or mention how different you are from other women he's met. Now, on the surface, those might sound like general compliments, but when they come consistently from the same person, with a certain tone, a certain look, and a certain energy, they become something more. They become clues. Because what he's really doing is testing the waters. He's trying to see how you respond, how you react, and whether there's a possibility that you might feel the same way. And here's the thing. You'll notice that he often stops just short of a full confession. He gets close, he creates the moment, and then he pulls back. That hesitation is not random. It's driven by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of changing the dynamic between you, and fear of putting himself in a vulnerable position without knowing the outcome. So instead of taking a direct risk, he chooses a safer path, one where he can express interest without fully committing to it. He gives you just enough to notice, but not enough to hold him accountable if things don't go the way he hopes. And that's why his words can sometimes feel confusing. One moment it seems like he's saying something meaningful, and the next moment he downplays it or shifts the conversation, almost like he's trying to hide what just happened. But if you pay attention to the pattern, you'll start to see the consistency behind it. Because even though his words might not be direct, his intention shows up repeatedly. He keeps bringing the conversation back to you, to relationships, to subtle comparisons that include you in a way that goes beyond friendship. And it's not just what he says, it's how he says it. There's a certain tone, a certain softness or seriousness that makes those moments stand out from normal conversation. It's like for a brief second, the mask slips and you get a glimpse of what he's really feeling. Then just as quickly, he puts it back on. Now, here's something important you need to understand. This kind of behavior comes from someone who feels something real, but isn't fully ready to act on it. He's caught between desire and doubt, between wanting to move forward and wanting to protect himself from potential rejection. So he communicates in fragments instead of full sentences, in hints instead of declarations. And if you're not paying attention, it's easy to dismiss those moments as meaningless or overthink them into confusion. But when you step back and look at the bigger picture, the pattern becomes clear. Because people don't repeatedly hint at something they don't feel. Those small statements, those almost confessions, they are pieces of a truth he hasn't fully said out loud yet. And in those moments when he gets close but doesn't cross the line, you're not seeing uncertainty about you. You're seeing uncertainty about the risk of revealing how much he actually feels. Closing, the truth you can't ignore. At the end of the day, you don't need to chase signs. They reveal themselves when you truly pay attention. A man who is secretly attracted may hide his words, hesitate in his actions, and guard his feelings, but he can never completely hide how he shows up around you. The real question isn't whether he feels something. The question is, what are you going to do with what you see? Don't settle for confusion, and don't ignore clarity when it's right in front of you, because you deserve more than hidden feelings. You deserve someone who chooses you openly, confidently, and without fear.